Welcome to another installment of the United Way's Community Impact Series, Advancing the Common Good. My name is Katie Gallagher, and I'm the Marketing Specialist at the United Way of the Lewis and Clark area. Today with me, I have Trina.
Howdy.
Hi, Trina is my coworker. It's always great to have coworkers come on the show with me. Can you explain a little bit what you do at the United Way, Trina?
Oh boy. So the Community Impact Coordinator is a relatively new position at the United Way, and my job is to figure out what's going on in the community around the issues that United Way holds as core topics like income, education, and health, and meeting basic needs. And then I go and try to figure out how to help people work better and more efficiently together so that they can solve community problems.
All right, and so the United Way is doing a lot of things that we've done for 100 years. We're in the middle of our citizen review process where community volunteers go out and interview our partner agencies to allocate funding, but we're also changing in a lot of ways and increasingly looking outward to the community, both to listen to people and find out what they see as the problems, and then bring that back to our family of partner agencies and the entire community really to develop effective solutions to problems. So can you explain a little bit about how the United Way is doing that?
Sure. There are a variety of tactics that we're taking to start to, instead of thinking that we've got all the answers or just remaining stagnant with the issues that we've always embraced, that are very important, very important. We also want to make sure that we're being responsive to community concerns, that we're listening to as many community members as possible about their experiences here, about what's going right, what's going wrong, how they think they could be useful in fixing some of the issues at hand. And we're trying to not only figure out how to solve immediate needs, because there are definitely immediate needs that are always going to be present, people who are vulnerable or in crisis, but there are also underlying issues and underlying causes for people to be experiencing chronic or consistent vulnerability. And so we're hoping through this process that we are going to be able to identify those underlying issues and mobilize people to be interested in creating a really comprehensive response to those problems. One of the tools that we're using to do this, and this is going on for the next year, is called the Community Conversations. And what it entails is basically, I'm trying to get as many people as possible throughout the community to participate in 1 hour, a 1 hour discussion with food. It's awesome. And what we do is we broach 4 main questions around the idea, what does our community need to thrive? And you get a chance to sit at a table and talk with folks that you may not ever have met before and listen to their perspectives, have your input listened to in a really focused way. People are really generous at these meetings and want to hear what everybody's perspective is. And so folks leave this meeting having given their input, and then I analyze the data and share it out and keep getting new folks to participate.
All right, and how many of these conversations are you hoping to have?
I would like to have 50 to 75, and we have only held 6 or 7, so there are a lot more that need to happen.
All right, and who are you trying to reach? You say everybody,
right.
So who is the specific target audiences that you want to have at these conversations?
Okay, so I was talking with Connor, who many folks probably know from this show. He is helping me analyze the data, and we were talking about how we've had a pretty narrow demographic so far. We've had a lot of folks participate, but they've been mostly women, mostly with progressive mindsets, and what were a variety of ages. But what we'd really like to do is get people who are maybe not feeling as progressive about social or political issues, people who have different perspectives on the way Helena can move forward, people who are in business, folks who have who struggle with resource access needs. I want to get, it would be great to get some guys at the table. So really, I want everybody from every sector of employment, people who are affluent, people who struggle with resource access issues, people who are middle class, people who are well educated, people who maybe have a high school education or are struggling with issues around education and or aren't struggling with it, are perfectly fine. I'd love to hear from people in the Valley, folks from Jefferson City, people all over the place. Your input is important, and one of the things that we're really trying to do is to make sure that whoever is at the table knows that what they have to say is valuable. It's not a place of judgment, it's a place of sharing ideas. And all of those ideas are valid and valuable. Otherwise, how are we going to make the right decisions about what we're supposed to do next to serve people well?
And so you mentioned people that have trouble accessing resources, and we know some of those resources might be transportation, and so which is a barrier to participating in conversations like this. So can you talk a little bit about what the United Way is doing, or plans to do, to address some of those barriers to participation that really leave people not empowered in our community and that typically don't share their voice?
You bet, and that is very true. There can be any opportunity in the world to come and chat, but if it's hard to get to the place, or if you're struggling with childcare needs, or if the time that the conversations are happening isn't convenient because you're working, then you're not going to be heard anyway. So we are making many efforts to broaden the times that we're going to be having these conversations. We're going to take them on the road. It's going to be the Conversation Roadshow. So we've so far had them at the United Way office, but I am willing to go to workplaces and have a lunchtime discussion. I am willing to go to existing meetings and hold a conversation during an existing meeting. I know there are a lot of those in the community. We also received a very generous grant from Associated Dermatology, and that is allowing us to provide food and childcare and transportation to venues so that folks can participate, because we recognize there are lots of barriers to doing that, lots of assumptions that people make about who can come to something to participate in community. So.
All right, and so 50 to 75 conversations over the next year, you said.
Well,
and
technically, actually, over the next 8 months.
Okay.
May through, we're hoping to end in December.
Okay, and then so when December comes, I mean, I know that's months out and that there's many more conversations to be held between now and then, but in December, what's the next step? What does United Way envision the next step being with all this information that you're gathering?
Well, one of the things that we're doing is, as I said, I'm trying to consistently analyze the data that that come out of these conversations, so that we can start saying, oh, folks seem really focused on this particular issue, or there's a lot of energy around this particular issue, and I'm going to be sharing that information with people who've already participated in the conversations. We are going to create some outreach and some, I know reports aren't that neato maybe, but we're going to be doing some information sharing in a variety of media to share the kinds of results that we've come up with. But really what we want to do is take this information and then have community members come in and talk about what the implications of the information are and help us craft what we're going to do next. So we're starting community impact task forces with, hopefully we will have guidance from folks from a variety of sectors in town who can say, all right, well, these are the common themes around education, and here's some stuff we can do to create a common shared goal that we can all reach together.
And that's really at the heart of community impact, is that common goal and then effective solutions to achieve that goal.
Absolutely, and a lot of folks respond to the idea of a well-researched, well-measured project, right? This isn't just going to be, hey, we're going to create some programs. We want to make sure we know what's going on so that we can create solutions that are tied into the goals of all our community members.
All right, and so if people want to get involved in the conversations, obviously you're making a plea for people to come participate. Right. So if people want to get involved, how can they get involved?
There are a couple of different ways. You can go to volunteerhelena.org, and there is an opportunity to participate in conversations, you can sign up that way. You can get a hold of me via email. My email address is up on the screen. You can call the United Way office and say that you're interested and want to know more. If you're still confused about what happens and how the conversations go down, I'd be happy to come talk to you or to chat with you over the phone. So our number is 442-4360. And don't be shy. We all talk about this stuff. You know, everybody in the community knows what is good about it, what really needs some work, and everybody has some strength that they can contribute to working towards solutions. So instead of just holding it in or talking about it with your family or friends, come and talk about it with us, because we really want to use what you have to say to do something good, and we have the ability to do that. We have lots of partners, lots of interested folks, and we want to make sure that this is a community where everyone can thrive.
All right, and I look forward to being in the office when these occur over the next year. It's exciting to see so many different faces come through our office.
It's really wonderful.
Yeah, thank you for joining me today, Trina.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks, Katie.